Okay, so recording has started and we'll get started. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You may have a towel or blanket to sit on this morning if that's comfortable. And we're going to practice this morning to get started a few different kinds of mudras with our hands. And we're also going to practice some chanting as well. There's Penny. So go ahead and take your hands and bring all your fingers together with your thumbs out. And we're going to place the hands with the thumbs facing backwards right below the rib cage. So this is about where the diaphragm sits in the body, that muscle that helps bring the rib cage and the belly out when we breathe on the inhale. And it actively constricts on the exhale, pushing any air out of the body. So we'll leave the hands here and just begin to find that soft, smooth breath in and out. And you can have the eyes opened or closed here. And just begin to notice any sensations in the lower body. So anything from the place where the hands are resting down. See if you can direct the breath to that place at the lower abdomen. And notice that natural wave-like motion of the breath coming in and out of the body. So take one more full round of breath here. Maybe starting to feel a sense of centering, confidence, or ease. And keeping the hands just as they are, you'll move them up to the chest. So the thumbs are actually going to go into the center of the armpits, and we're pressing into the lymph nodes. So if you find that that's a really tender space, you can let the thumbs release and just have them in front of the chest. The fingers are resting just at the top or the middle of the chest area, elbows out, and let the shoulders release. Notice where the breath is directed in the body. So we have this mudra here to direct the breath into the lungs. Maybe even bringing into your mind's eye that movement of the lungs, filling up with the air on the inhale, squeezing all the air out on the exhale. In your subtle body, you may start to feel a rise in energy as we bring the breath into the chest area. Take one more round of breath here. That gentle pressure in the lymph nodes with the thumbs. And from here, we're going to move the hands behind the head. So you're reaching for that space right at the base of the neck with the elbows up. And we'll be here for about 5 rounds of breath. So if you feel like this is uncomfortable in the shoulders or even in the breath, you can just let the hands relax down with the hands on the back of the neck. So returning back to that soft, smooth inhale and exhale, directing the breath into the upper collarbones, into the neck. Feeling a tall spine with the sit bones rooting down, the crown of the head lifting up. Opening up the entire breathing apparatus here. And take one last breath. And when that exhale completely releases, you'll let the hands release down, resting the backs of the hands on top of the thighs. Taking a moment here to notice if anything has shifted with the breath or with the energy. Maybe some tension has released in the body. We're going to practice one more mudra, and this time we're going to incorporate a chant, just a one syllable chant with our mudra before we go into movement. So it's a really cool placement of the fingers on the hand. So I'll show you closer to the, with a index finger. So your index fingers will be pointing out, and then you're going to bring your middle finger to the tip of your thumb. The ring finger is going to be right at the middle of your thumb. And then your pinky will be at the base of your thumb. So it kind of looks like this cool conch shell with the hand, with your index finger pointing out. So we'll do that with both hands. So index finger out on the opposite hand, middle finger to the thumb tip, ring finger to the middle thumb, and pinky to the base of the thumb. And let the hands rest down on the backs of the legs. Return to that tall spine in your seat. And the chant, the syllable that we'll use is hum. It sounds like H-U-M, hum. We'll do it 3 times together. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, let the breath release out. We'll take an inhale to prepare for our chant. Return back to your natural breath. Release the mudra. You can clear the throat or have a couple of coughs. You may notice that things have gotten loosened up in the throat region. Good. And if the eyes are closed, you can begin to come back to a soft gaze. And we'll begin to make our way to standing. So you'll come to standing at the top of your mat. And if you're listening to any music, you can go ahead and press play on the music if you haven't already, because now would be a good time. So let the feet widen a little more than hip width apart, and the toes will be facing out, the heels slightly in. So we're just going to begin by bringing the hands to the hips and let ourselves make a big wide circle with the hips. Knees will bend as you go side to side. There's a movie that I'm thinking of where they say, bring it around town. So you can think about that. SpongeBob. That's it. I remember with kids. You can imagine that you're cleaning out like a peanut butter jar, getting all of the peanut butter out with this motion. When you feel ready, you'll switch the direction, go the opposite way. Nice big round circles with the hips. And keep the breath moving. So it might be natural for you to hold the breath during movement. So let it flow with the hips. We'll slowly make our way back up to center line. Bring the hands down by the sides. And we'll begin to twist from side to side. Maybe you start off a little slow. Let the knees bend with the movement. Arms will start to swing a little bit further out as you create bigger twists. Maybe you start to go a little bit faster. Notice if you have any person or furniture next to you. You can let the arms swing out if you have enough space. Maybe start to go a little bit faster, like a helicopter with the arms. And if you've sped up this movement, begin to slow it back down. Coming back to center. Arms are down by the sides once again, and on the next inhale, bring the arms up wide overhead. And as you exhale, arms come out about shoulder height, palms face up. On the next inhale, begin to twist towards the left, right arm comes in front. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. We'll do one last time towards the right. Inhale to come through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, you'll make your way back to center. Arms come up overhead. And as you exhale, hands come through the heart. Let's fold all the way forward. Maybe a little bend in the knees here. Just let the head and neck hang. Maybe letting the head shake yes and no very slowly here. Maybe it starts to feel good to sway back and forth, bringing the hands to the right and left. Bending into one knee as you come to that side. Straightening on the opposite. Good. Begin to make your way back towards the center. Bring your hands together, clasp all the fingers except for your index. Those will be pointing straight out. Begin to rise up towards the right. We're going to make a big circle with the upper body. Coming all the way up the right side. Through center and over towards the left. So you may need to bend one knee and then the other as we come towards each side. Keep the breath moving, and maybe as you come up in your circle, that navel center pulls back towards the spine. You may start to make this movement a little bit faster, or maybe you'd like it to be more slow and mindful. Next time you come all the way down, let the hands release, head and neck releases. And we'll go the opposite way, that same movement. Bring the clasp of the fingers together, maybe opposite clasp, opposite thumb on top so it feels a little awkward. And then we'll come up through the left side. Big, wide circles. Using that engagement of the navel center, that space right between the pelvic floor and the belly button, to keep that integrity in the middle body. Good. Next time you come down, let the hands release, head and neck releases. And bring the hands to the fronts of the shins and begin to come up to stand by sliding the hands up the legs. Maybe giving yourself a little rub in that low mid back. Nice little rub in the rib cage and the belly. Right hand comes to the heart. Let it come out all the way down that left arm. Clap the hands together towards the left. Left hand comes to the heart. Slide it all the way down the right. Clap the hands together towards the right. We're back upright. So we're going to keep the feet wide once again. There's going to be two options for this next breath practice. First option would be hands together, fingers, index fingers pointing out, and the movement will be inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down, just like that. Second option would be inhale, arms up, exhale, fold all the way forward. So two options there. So we'll keep the index fingers pointing out, reach up, big inhale, exhale, inhale to come up, exhale, and keep moving with your breath. If you're staying upright, those hands come all the way back on the exhale. Big breaths in, big breaths out. 2 more times. When you finish, the hands come down by the sides. Step the feet towards hip width apart. Hands can come to the heart. Take a moment to close the eyes here. Feel the energy rising up in the body as we use the breath and some movement. Let the hands come down towards the hips. Open up the eyes and find a spot in the room for your gaze to land on that's not moving. This will be called the drishti point. It will help with balance. So if you're near a wall, you can use the wall for support or even a partner next to you. And we're going to bring the weight into the right foot. So without even lifting the left foot yet, spread the toes of the right. Feel the entire sole of the foot pressing down into the floor. A little bend in that right knee. And then notice if you can find an inseam coming up through that right leg. Press down and up all the way into the pelvic floor in the center of the body. We're going to step the left foot forward only about a foot, so it's not coming too far forward. You can widen the feet just a little bit here. And bring the hands up to the sky. Good. With the arms raised up, begin to bend into your front knee, coming up onto the ball of the foot, ball of the back foot as well, so a little balancing here. And as you exhale, come down onto the soles of the feet, bring the hands back behind you. Lift the left toes up to the sky. Okay, so inhale, we come forward, bending into the knees, coming up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, arms come back, lift the left toes up. So just like that, a few more times. This will be the last one, reaching hands up. Exhale, come with the arms back. Let the front leg be lengthened, toes up towards the sky. And as you exhale, little lean forward over that front leg, bending in that right knee. Bring the hands to the hips, come back upright. And we're going to bring some creative movement to that left leg. So you can begin to bend the knee up, bend it out to the side. This is some exploration movement in the left side body. You can bring the leg behind out to the side. You can bring the arms in for balance. And eventually, we're going to come to a tree pose with the left foot on the inside of the ankle, shin, or thigh of the right leg. Taking a pause here in our balance posture. Finding that entire sole of the right foot pressing up through the inseam, growing tall in the spine. If you'd like an added challenge, you can bring the palms together overhead. Finding that spot for your gaze, the drishti point. Good. Let the hands come down if you've lifted them overhead. Left foot comes back down onto the ground. Let the hands release. You can walk out both sides for a moment. And then begin to find that left foot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Spread the toes. Find the entire sole of the foot and press down through that inseam of the left leg, coming all the way up into the pelvic floor. Hands can be at the hips. And then you'll begin to bring that right foot out in front, about a foot ahead. Maybe widening the stance as the hands come up to the sky. Bend into that front knee as you come up onto both balls of the feet. And as you exhale, slide the hands back, lengthen through the front leg, toes come up. Inhale, up to the sky, lifting up strong. Exhale, coming back. Next one will be the last one, lifting up, finding that balance, lifting through the crown of the head. Exhale to slowly come back. Arms are behind, right leg is lengthened, a little dip with the heart forward, long spine. Hands will come back to the hips as you come back upright. And we'll play with that creativity on the left or the right leg, balance on the left. So moving through that right side body. Keeping the hands on the hips or bringing them into the balance and the movement. And eventually making your way towards that tree pose on this side. Right foot connecting into the left side. Hands at the heart. And this pose is not all about stillness, so you may find that there's a little bit of movement here in your tree pose. If you'd like that challenge, hands come up overhead. Good. And if the hands have come up, let the hands come back to the heart. Releasing arms down by the sides, right foot comes down. You can walk out the legs. And if you're not already there, find the top of your mat once again. Hands will come to heart center. We're going to move into sun salutations. Connecting with both feet into the ground, feeling into that strong base in the lower body. The lightness and the lift in the upper body. On the inhale, let the arms come down and then sweep up wide to the sky. Exhale, float down for a forward fold. Your inhale lifts you up halfway, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale to fold. We'll step the left foot back. Maybe a little bit wider stance here. Hands can come up to the right thigh. Find that solid base, and arms might come up all the way for high crescent lunge. Exhale to come down, and we'll step back for a plank position. Keeping knees up or letting them be touching gently down onto the floor. Take 2 more rounds of breath here in plank. Pulling that navel center powerfully into the spine. And as you exhale, if knees aren't already there, let the knees come down. Chest and chin, elbows in. Inhale, slide forward, gentle cobra pose. Exhale to release. On the inhale, we'll lift up through tabletop and sink the hips back for a child's pose, just for 2 breaths. Toes will curl under. The inhale will lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let the dog walk out here, bending one knee and then the other. Press down through that index and thumb space on the hands. And from here, we'll lift the left leg. And maybe it only comes an inch or 2 off the ground. Maybe it will come all the way up towards the sky. And we'll find our way with the left foot forward. May take a couple of steps to get there. Right foot will come up to meet. Forward fold. Let the head and neck release. The inhale comes up halfway. Exhale to fold. Arms will sweep out and up as you come to the sky. And hands back to the heart. Take a breath here, maybe eyes closed. Feel down into the feet, tall spine, lifting up through the middle body. And sun salutation, other side. Let the arms drop down. Inhale, lift to the sky. Exhale to float down for a fold. Halfway lift on your inhale. Exhale to fold. This time we'll step right foot back. Finding that solid stance with the feet as the hands might come up to the thigh first. Arms lifting, rising up for high crescent lunge. The exhale, arms float down. Finding your way back to plank pose. Feel length here in your plank, so reach back through the heels, forward through the crown of the head, especially if the knees are lifted. Press down through the index and thumb on your hands. Broad collarbones, powerful shoulders. And if the knees aren't already down, let them softly touch down. Keep the elbows in, chest, chin to the floor. Slide forward for your cobra pose. Exhale to release. We'll make our way back to child's pose for 2 breaths. Eventually coming to downward facing dog with hips lifting to the sky. Maybe walking out the dog, especially if those hamstrings are feeling tight here. And however you'd like to get to the top of the mat, we'll meet there in forward fold. So option here is to bring that right leg up to the sky. Pulling it through for that lunge with right foot forward. And meeting in a forward fold. Let the head and neck hang here. And the inhale brings you into halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Come all the way up to the sky with a big breath in. And hands come back to the heart. Finding the breath, soft, smooth, wave-like breath in the body. So we're going to come back to another balancing posture. If you're near a wall, you can use the wall again. And we'll start off with the right foot down into the earth. And begin to pick your left heel up behind you. So this might be your balance posture. This would be variation 1. If you'd like to go a little bit further here, you can bring the left hand behind to catch onto your pants leg, your ankle, or even the foot. If the hand is on the foot, let the knees come together. And we'll slowly dip the heart forward as left foot comes back. Dancer pose. So if you don't have the hand on the ankle, you can just use a balancing here with the body. So eventually we'll come out of this dancer pose. Maybe it takes a couple steps, but we'll step all the way back with that left foot. Turn the left heel down, heel to arch alignment for warrior 2 legs. Let the arms come out and take a look over those right fingertips. We'll begin to bring the hands back behind us, clasp the fingers. This might be where you stay, lifting the heart. If you'd like to take a fold, you can dip onto the inside of that front leg. If you've taken that fold, rise up using that mid-body core, using the feet. Hands come back out to warrior 2. Let the front leg lengthen. Reverse triangle with right hand to the sky. Exhale, arms come back out. Cartwheel all the way down for triangle pose. Right hand can land on the shin or thigh without pressing the knee joint back. So really strong in the feet and the legs here. Bend into your front knee. Place your right elbow on top of the knee, side angle. Option here to sweep that left arm like a big guitar swing. Left arm comes over the ear. Good. Keep the breath soft and smooth. Press down into both heels equally. Good. Inhale to come up. Use that core and your feet to come up to center, warrior two. Look towards your right fingertips. And hands will come down to the hips. Turn your hips forward. Pick up your back heel. We're back in that high lunge position. Bring the right arm behind, left arm in front. We'll come into a twist towards the right. An option here would be to bring hands to the heart center, left elbow towards your right knee. So either option here. And we'll sweep the arms back up to the sky, rising up. And exhale, step all the way forward, maybe a couple steps. Back to mountain pose. Take a moment here, maybe walking out the legs. And notice any sensations in the lower body, in the upper body, in the breath. And the eyes will come back open if they've closed. We'll come to that dancer pose on the opposite side. So coming into that left foot, find that full base of the left foot pressing down. Option one is to just bring the right heel up and play with balancing, tipping forward and back. Next option would be to reach back for that right heel, ankle, or pant leg. And using the heart coming forward, balancing out the lower body coming back. Finding where your center of gravity here is. And eventually making your way back to high lunge. Finding some balance here in the lower body. Turn the back heel down and open up, warrior two. Heel to arch alignment. Look over those left fingertips. Press down through both heels equally. Then begin to bring the hands behind the back, clasp the fingers, maybe the opposite clasp. Staying here upright, lifting through the heart, or maybe dipping down the inside of that front leg. Feeling that power through the feet, legs, core coming back up. Opening the arms out to warrior two. Lengthening through the front leg, reverse triangle, left arm to the sky. Exhale to come through center, cartwheeling, triangle pose. Let that front leg be active, pulling the kneecap up into the thigh. We'll eventually bring that left knee to bend, placing left elbow on top. Either keeping right arm lifting up to the sky or making that big swing with the right arm and bringing it over the ear, extended side angle. Notice if you can feel the entire sole of the right foot in the back. Pulling up, bringing that core engaged back to warrior two. Hands come to the hips. Turn the hips forward. Pick up the back heel for high crescent lunge. And this time we will twist towards the left, so the arms will come out wide. And maybe hands to the heart with that right elbow towards the thigh. Feel that stability in the legs as you come back towards high crescent lunge. Hands to the heart, making your way to the top of the mat. Finding both feet solid into the earth. Again, feeling any sensations in the lower body, the upper body, and the breath. Letting the eyes come back open if they've closed. Take an inhale, let the arms sweep up to the sky. Hands will come through heart center to fold. Nice, gentle fold here, softness in the knees. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold. This time we'll step back, both feet for plank. Find 2 breaths here in plank pose. And we'll let the knees softly touch down and let the entire body come all the way down onto the floor. Let yourself rest on one cheek or the other. You can wiggle the hips back and forth. So we're gonna make sure that our hands are down towards the upper rib cage. Squeeze the elbows in, draw the shoulders back. And on your inhale, lift up, little baby cobra pose. Draw your tailbone down in between your heels. Click all 10 toenails into the floor. And as you exhale, allow yourself to soften down, come down onto the opposite cheek. And next inhale, lift for a little baby cobra, maybe a little higher this time. Drawing shoulders back, softening in the belly. And exhale, lower down, opposite cheek. And from here, we'll bring the hands behind the low back, clasping the fingers. Draw the shoulders up and back as you lift through the upper body, lift the heart, reach your hands back towards your heels. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, rest on the opposite cheek. Inhale, let's lift up. Last one, reach the hands back. Draw your tailbone down. And then maybe you can try to lift the feet a couple inches off the ground. Maybe try to squeeze the heels together. Good. Exhale, lower all the way down. Let the hands come to stack for your forehead. Bend the knees so that the feet come up towards the sky, and you can windshield wiper the feet back and forth. And let the feet come all the way down onto the floor. We're going to slowly come up through a tabletop position. And sink the hips back towards the heels for child's pose. And as you're here in child's pose, let yourself feel the lengthening of the spine, the tailbone reaching back, the forehead reaching down towards the earth, grounding in. Next inhale, come up, hands and knees. We'll roll through to a seat. Bringing the feet out in front with the knees bent. Connecting down to the sit bones, long spine here. Draw the shoulders down the back. And before we come all the way down onto our backs, we're going to practice boat pose here. So boat pose can look like a couple of different ways. It can be here where we are already, lengthening up through crown of the head. You can start to lean back, keeping that long spine, shoulders down the back. Or maybe you like to play with lifting the legs. Other variations here are to take the hands off the backs of the legs, lengthening through the knees if that's something your hamstrings will allow this morning. Draw that navel point back towards the spine powerfully with each exhale. We're going to begin to lower down a little bit more towards the earth. So if you have feet on the ground, you'll start to roll back. If you're in boat pose, keep that integrity with the spine. And we'll eventually come all the way down onto the back, maybe moving slowly here, feeling some shake. When you come all the way down onto the back, let yourself come into a 5-pointed star on the floor. Arms reach out wide, feet wide. You can wiggle the hips back and forth. Let the head shake yes and no to right and left. And from here, we'll bring the hands down by the sides, bend the knees, place the feet onto the floor with feet about mat width apart, so a little wider here. And let the knees drop out to the right. If you'd like, you can bring that left hand out to a T shape, bringing your gaze to the opposite of the knees. Slowly bring the gaze back to center and let the knees come up and over to the left. Maybe that right arm comes out wide, bringing your gaze over towards the right hand. And you'll come back up to center and let yourself make your way towards a final resting posture. So that may look like laying down in Shavasana or seated in a meditation posture. Taking a moment here to find that comfortable pose to end your practice with this morning. And allow the eyes to close. Notice the darkness behind the eyelids. Notice any sounds in the room. Notice which parts of the body are being supported by the earth. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice the temperature of the air coming in and out of the nose or mouth. Feel the complete body releasing into the earth, complete body breathing. Let the lips part slightly here so that the inhale is coming through the nose, the exhale is coming through the mouth. Take a few deep sigh-like breaths. And you'll begin to gently let the head roll left and right, gentle movement in the neck. Starting to bring some more movement down the body towards the arms and fingers, toes. If you're not already upright, you'll begin to make your way towards one side or the other. And once you find yourself upright in a seated position, you can keep the eyes soft or closed. Hands will come to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Finding gratitude for inviting yourself into practice this morning, for your health, for your body. and for community. Thank you so much for joining me this Wednesday morning. Hope to see you again next week. Namaste.